Hello. I didn't see you there as I was pretending to grab a book. Welcome to really the greatest video of all time. If you didn't know this, I am a member, a proud member, of the Bus and Burmese, a team in an ADL team tour. Now, we're not going to break down the whole story, but basically, PGP was pretty bad. Not as a server, as an experience. And no fault of their own. They did a great job. If anyone on the PGP staff sees this, you're great. It wasn't you, it was me. But basically, in the aftermath of PGP, I had slowly grown accustomed to a server called ADL, thanks to a friend, Mr. Polo. We were friends before we even battled in PGP, sharing a mutual love of Mugi. Eventually, I decided to enroll in a team tour they had, sectioned off people in an auction draft where they would pick players, and then we would draft teams and battle each other in 8v8. It was a very fun experience. And actually what happened is we found ourselves all the way into playoffs. Now, to make playoffs is pretty hard. There was a big war that started way before the ADL team tour was even a thing. Actually, it probably still rages on, as it somehow isn't definitive enough. But there's a small group of people who believe Saber is a superior character to Mugi from K-On! This is simply not true. If you take a look at the statistics, it's wrong. Now, the Bus and Burmese, obviously, as the name implies, have a Burmese as our mascot. But along the way, Mugi took part as a mascot as well, visiting with us and taking multiple photo shoots to support our team, along with the rest of the K-On! Cast. Now, you may not believe me, and I understand it's hard to believe, but here I have hard evidence. Let me go ahead and pull up the image. Here, you can see a quick photo of Mugi and Burmese together, really our two mascots. In what a beautiful scene, right? And she's pointing at him. Really, really beautiful. I don't know if we have a name for our Burmese, but really it feels almost as though Burmese has taken a back seat to Mugi at this point. Next we have them together. Cute little photo shoot here and all bundled up. It was really great, tough to shoot. Next we have, and you can tell these were taken in the same frame as they're both doing like the same poses in both this and the last image. And then there's of course classic flexing Mugi with the little elbow thing. And so here we have 4 distinct photos, right? But you can still say, since there's no Bus and Burmese member, all of us are in fact 6'8" plus, and Chads all can bench 500 pounds. It can be hard to believe. But the problem is she's like 5'1", right? She's very short, and so getting us all in the same frame was kind of difficult. I was able to manage and work it out, or I did visit with the K-On! girls, and they took a selfie with me. So obviously this is me, right? Same guy. This is a little while ago because I had a hair shirt. I still have this shirt actually. I thought about wearing it today, but I didn't want to put it on. As the K-On! member and Bussy Berman member, I am always wearing a tie, always wearing a suit, and I do in fact urinate tea, as we all do. It's just a thing we do. And so now there's a problem, right, that arose. That problem mainly being the fact that there's still the war. And in the playoffs for the first team, we fought, it's like the Spindochus Sabers or something ridiculous. That's got a notification. The Spindochus Sabers. Basically, and it was as though they were trying to tell everyone they were worse than us off the bat, right, off riff, because obviously Mugi's better than Saber. Everyone knew this except for them, it seems like, because there was a constant fight about it, right? They would call her the random blonde, which is very disrespectful. So all that happened. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can move this. Oh, look at that, very professional content. And so week 1 rolls around. Or actually, no, the first battle of the week rolls around. Maybe it's this one. It is this one. Beautiful. And so the first battle rolls around, and amazingly, we start off with Silverstrawn. Now, he is one of the 6'5" million members of the team. How do I turn that down? Perfect. I think that should be a good volume. If not, oh well. It's not classical music, in which case I can't immediately determine whether or not it's good or not as we listen to classical music, or specifically the K-On! soundtrack. Now, Silverstrawn Brilliant member for our team. I don't know his record actually. I don't know what his standing is, but he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's one of the 6'8" members. I believe he's actually 6'9", which is really impressive. He eats like 500 bowls of cereal a day. It's very cool. But basically, he starts out against Haggers, and it was a pretty tough. Actually, it wasn't that bad of a matchup, as you'll see. As Victini has a very funny move called Big Button. And so this is the first game of the series. In playoffs, all six members of the team fight against each other, as opposed to before when you sent 3 of your guys and then the best of 3. It was just 6-on-6. Differential would be the tiebreaker. So first game we step up. This is after smashing them really to get into playoffs. We needed to beat them to make it in. They made it in because they had a good record. Props to them. Saber is very powerful, just not Mugi level. And so the first battle kicks off here. Victini's lead obviously has no switch-ins. Great lead by our opponent, very respectable lead, leading the Greninja to predict the Victini lead as it was so obvious. U-turn here gets a little bit of chip here. I actually suggested Rocky Helmet for this guy in purpose to do that, so we can accumulate the chip on the Victini, on the I'm sorry, I can't speak, the Greninja. Full switch gets back a little bit of momentum, and Claydol's back in the game. So we're going to get the Claydol Toxic. That's not that big of a deal. It sucks really bad, but it's not the end of the world. Knockoff comes. Also, as a canon member, I have always 2 glasses always on me. I always keep perfume handy, and I always have a watch with me just in case. I actually prefer these glasses. I like them way better. But as you can see, we have 50% on this Rotom, which means now really there is no switch-ins. Here, Volt Switch, we eat that Volt Switch, and boom, Nidoking, Queen, my apologies, goes down. MVT is going to take its first kill. I'm going to let it switch to normal because nothing really happens. Greninja comes out, we send in the Togekiss on a beautiful, beautiful Dark Pulse read. Not running to take the U-turn. I'm going to assume that's choice. If not, oh well. Ice Beam wasn't killing from that range anyway. We Baton Pass back out into the Water guy, as we need to pretty much just get Victini back in, which is what this does. Victini is in, and I'll be able to claim another kill. That is going to be Rotom Heat. And Rotom Heat's now dead. Very simple game for our boy Silverstrawn. Respectable play by our opponent, but he really had nothing to do against that Victini. U-turn comes out here, does a little bit of damage. But really, the whole game is just Victini wins, right? Nothing really to do at that point. It's just, it won. So good. Victini had a crazy matchup. Brilliant opener to our boy Silverstrawn. And now we're up 1-0, which is a pretty good place to be, pretty comfortable to be there. However, you can't get too comfortable. It is a team tour. Saber is quite powerful. And if we do get a little bit arrogant, we can kind of get tripped up. So we're very careful not to have that happen. Second battle, I apologize, that happens is going to be Populio versus Wabam. Don't know the Discord names. I'm pretty sure Random Populio is just Random Populio. Great lead, Demeter. That is the goddess of grass and fertility, I think. I don't really know. It's been a while since I read Percy Jackson and got my master's in Greek mythology. Great seed here. Moltres is a problem. That thing at 8-mon is like abnormally good. So it's good that we kind of got it asleep and seeded. Seed's not gonna matter if he switches out. Prometheus, that's somebody else. Skipper, that breaks the theme, but it doesn't really matter. Pretty goated for that. Flip turn here as a Rotom Mosh. Chipping this Rotom Mosh is pretty powerful. As SD Gallade is now pretty solid this matchup. Actually, it's not really that good. We have people in the chat cheering for Saber. It's just, it's not really great to cheer for Saber, honestly. Zeus we have here, really great name theme, and then Skipper. So maybe I'm missing something here. But Demeter is back in, no spikes or anything up. Leech Seed goes back up, and that Moltres is going to be chipped down. No nasty plot up yet. Berserk can happen, but there's no agility. Zeus comes back in because it's going to be able to eat anything and force out with a Volt Switch on the Hippowdon. We should see a hard switch here. Swampert, yep. I haven't watched this replay before. I'm just talking on my butt right now. I'm just predicting what would happen. Flip turn should be coming out here. Nope, Toxic. That's good. Chipping this Rotom down is pretty huge here. It forces the rest of the team to rely on either wish support from Jirachi or the other guy. Hydro Pump comes out here. It does 0% to Demeter. And we can set up a spike here. I think a spike is pretty nice, no? A Leech Seed. I don't know if we have spikes. I don't know if this thing gets spikes. I know it gets Toxic spikes. Normal spikes might be different. That might be only its evolutions thing. Prometheus is what, dude? Who's Prometheus, dude? Is that the, I think that's the god of, like, fire. Fire and Steel. Ah, it's like the Fire Ironworks guy, right? That was Leo's dad. Toxic comes out here. He's letting everything get toxic. We do artfully dodge Mugi. Actually, she told us after she really drew the toxic away, as you can't really be toxic around Kaon fans. We are the toxicity, so it just avoids us here. We eat that not Shadow Ball, Energy Ball. Jirachi goes down, but Skipper will be dead the next switch in due to rocks, unless we can get rid of them here with Zeus. Hippodo comes in here, threatens a Toxic. I believe it is packing it, unless I'm stupid. Yep, Toxic and Rock. Swamper's going to get sacked here, which is a fine sack. Obviously, we don't want anything getting Toxic here. Hippodo being in longer lets the Toxic rack up more damage. Demeter comes back in, and you can drain away, take about 36% away. Heal back up, eat this Earthquake. Actually, we did not eat that Earthquake. That Earthquake ate us, like for real. He can't stay in for much longer, as Demeter is going to go ahead and be able to 2-hit KO in the next turn with the Toxic damage. And Lopunny comes in here. Zapdos should be able to wall this team. We have potential triple axle here. Ice Punch comes out, ensuring the 2-hit KO, which is kind of sucky. 2 Ice Punches. There's a chance for a static, which we do in fact get. Another blessing from the Kaon Lords. And Heatran is in here. Should be able to outspeed, I believe. And Magma Storm, or actually Eruption. Beautiful decision by our team to run Eruption. Prometheus here. Really great matchup now that the Rotom Wash is gone. Honestly, as soon as it was chipped, it was actually really good. I didn't realize we had that. Raw here is out on the field. Hippowdon can't kill it here in one attack, and we should get a free SD up. SD is kind of limited by our boy Clefable in the back, so we're not going to go for it. Actually, I think we're 4 attacks, which makes a lot of sense. That doesn't feel like it's no HP. That feels a little bit HP invested, but I could be wrong. Clef comes out here as we Leaf Blade. Should do about 31%. I was going to say 34%. It's probably a roll around that range. Roselia comes back in here, probably to, I don't know what we're doing here. Knockoff, very nice. Actually, I think we're just trying to get the, oh, beautiful crit. That was actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this is kind of an unlucky situation for our opponents here. I actually kind of feel bad being satire about it. But yeah, that was crazy actually. So we lose the flower, but it's about time. Lopunny is out here and is going to go ahead and go down. No use really saving it. And both ops are in range of, I believe, that is Scarfed. Wow, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. Hydreigon comes in here because it should be able to take 1, and we eat. We can take 2. Wow, beautiful. We hit the Draco Meteor. This doesn't mean we need to kind of stall the Hippowdon, but it is toxic. The game is pretty much over here. U-turn comes out here to reset the 2 special attack drops. Prometheus comes in here. It can die. It's not really that big of a deal. In fact, getting this eruption off the Earthquake trade should ensure the win. Soon we are packing Dark Pulse of some sort. So great trade. Beautiful win, 1-0. A little bit of assistance from Hacks. A little bit. It was actually quite assisted. However, it was very artful because he was listening to the Kaon soundtrack, as we always do. Great win. So we're up 2-0. And we need 3-0 at least to tie. Tie is the worst, and then differential will tie break. So the first game, Silverstone really had us a great differential. This one 1-0 a little bit shakier. But next up, we have Hero F-Zero playing his game, and I watched this live, and I can say I was very excited. I actually played against Pez in the previous round. I forgot what set I used to win. I'm pretty sure I won, but I don't remember what set I used. I remember thinking it was pretty hot, but maybe it wasn't that hot. Landorus is led here against Hydreigon. So Valley is running Flying again. It ran Flying against me, so I had a feeling it would be Flying for his matchup, especially with the Pangoro in the back. I actually think Bug was maybe a little bit better. Maybe I'm stupid. Dancy comes in here. And we're actually running Screens Coco, which is really cool. Running Volt Switch is kind of a troll against Zeraora because if the opponent does get a little bit risky, you're kind of healing the Zera, especially in the late game. Pretty sure you can see me joining those. I don't know why I pointed to the screen. You can't see that. We eat this here with the late screen up. I think we're mixed defensive. This guy, Landorus. U-turn comes in here. It's going to take a little bit of damage from the Dancy. Coco comes back in. Another U-turn will take that sub out of play. And now Dancy is really in a position where it can't super sub. It can sub 1 more time, but ideally you're getting the sub behind the Scizor after everything is chipped so that you can Mystical Fire off the Bullet Punch and you're okay. Our team, though, should be packing 2 Bullet Punch users in Pangoro and Scizor, I believe, which is really nice. As long as this thing is healthy as well, Zeraora is kind of bad. Letting this chip happen isn't too big of a deal because we do have leftovers and it's not really doing too much. In fact, it's going to ensure that Dancy's dead, which is a pretty big deal. Dancy is always a pretty massive problem, especially with all the different sets running around as soon as the Scissor's down. Hydra comes in here, but we need the HP on our Landorus, so we go ahead and bring in the Pangoro This is a video, not ad. This is just music. Perfect. Parting shot on the Slow Valley gives us an opportunity to go into Scizor. This is kind of risky because Op could be packing some sort of fire type attack, but Pain Shot comes out instead, which is great. Empoleon comes out here on the Swords Dance. Really great set for us. We have Sand Tomb coming out here, which is really awesome. Gonna lock our opponent in and we set up, but unfortunately he gets the Scald, which is very fair. We did do quite lucky last game. We're gonna go ahead and roost up and try to get into a position where we're really far set up and be kind of sweep with Bullet Punch. Unfortunately, with the Zero Aura that high and the burn, not going to be possible. I think even +6, Scizor doesn't OHKO Zero from full, and Zero can be packing Blaze Kick, which is a really big problem. And Fire Punch, I believe. And then Empoleon does in fact reveal Roar, which puts us in a pretty bad position. But the Empoleon is going to go down, which is nice. It was holding Chopper Berry, which is pretty creative. I'm assuming for an SD superpower type set. Scizor's kind of useless at this point as it's burn. It doesn't really have anything to set up on anymore as it has revealed Sand Tomb, but there's no longer an Empoleon. So sitting in here and SDing up isn't too big of a deal to get that Bullet Punch chip damage off. In fact, actually, I think it might have been a mistake by the opponent to Nasty Plot there and reveal that it wasn't Scarfed. Facing down Scarf would have been a pretty big problem in my opinion. You sack off the Tapu Koko here to get the damage, and I believe we trolled for a second, but we didn't really. I was expecting a double into our Crustle, but we're not going to double into Crustle at all. In fact, we're going to go hard Pangoro and sack it to the Dazzling Gleam. Simply not a problem. It forces the opponent to stay in, and now we can bring a Crustle for absolutely free. I was quite nervous here, because we do in fact Crustle Shell Smash once, and then the Ice Beam comes out, and I was like, wow, that's 10% chance that we Shell Smash again, which opens up the crit and freeze chance, but luckily we don't hit any. And from then on, Scizor plus I believe Rock Blast is going to go ahead and sweep the game. So Rock Blast comes out here, and there's really no reason to do anything else other than click Scizor from this point on. Opponent revealed no Scarfed on either. Earthquake is 100% accurate, beautiful play, and the Hydreigon will go down. So really great play by Hero Zero. We talked about it in prep. Everything really executed well. We were quite proud of our performance in this game. Next up is my game. Which is pretty interesting. So now we have 3-0, so we're winning 3-0. No way we can lose. We can lose to differential, but if we win one more game, we're in a really great spot. I personally didn't like my matchup going into this game, but I never like my matchup because I always feel like I'm unlucky, which isn't true. I just feel like that. So I go ahead and I prep. I had some pretty heat stuff, I'm not gonna lie. In prep, I was like, all right, well, he has two options. If we see the Ninetales come, which I didn't think would come. He has a little Ninetales on his roster. It's pretty bad against my team, I would think, because I do have that Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch lead could be pretty bad for him. Scizor as a whole isn't that good, but it can get annoying after a +2, assuming that is the Zapdos gets chipped. And so I was thinking that the Ninetales would come. And when the Ninetales doesn't come, that means he's worried about the Diancie lead, right? Diancie lead is pretty good against him. Really, he's worried about the Diancie in general. And having the best way to be not worried about the Diancie is to have your Scizor in front. And so I prepped in such a way where I predicted that the Scizor would lead and the Ninetales wouldn't come. Both of those are pretty crucial to my prep because I didn't really like my matchup. Again, I thought I was about 80-20 in his favor. I was about 20% chance matchup. So I prepped in such a way that that would happen. Scizor comes out here and I lead Slowking. Scarfed Slowking Galar, so my Flamethrower will outspeed and OHKO right off the bat, which is pretty huge for me. Slowking's pretty bad any other way, so it kind of sucks. Crocodile comes out here because I was pretty worried about setup in mocks. It was quite a problem. It knocks off my eject button, which is kind of a waste. I should have gone to Blastoise right away, but I wasn't sure about this guy's set, which is why I kind of played a little bit safer. Artillery comes out here. It reveals some sort of Adamant Max Attack variant. I don't know really. I know I saw the paste after, but I don't remember. This is where it was supposed to happen, where I would U-turn, but I obviously threw away my stinking eject button. Chansey comes out here on my guy. I want to keep HP for this as much as possible, as it can still live I believe it can live a Facade, it can live a Facade, Earthquake, and any attack from the Incineroar. I go ahead and throw in Diamond Storm here, and I was pretty much going to spam it until I got the +2 I needed to retreat, as +2 Body Press does give me a 2-hit KO. Body pressing again is pretty bad if he does in fact decide to bring up the Zapdos and I get paralyzed. That would suck really bad. So I go ahead and switch out here as the Landorus comes in. It U-turned last time, so I'm pretty safe going for the Rillaboom switch in here. And I believe I go ahead and click knockoff. Yeah, so I'm running protective pads, U-turn, knockoff, swords dance, grassy glide, which I think is a pretty good set, especially after we knock off the things. He has 2 flying types, so putting up rocks is great for me. He defogs them away, but on my crocodile, so I can pretty safely put up rocks as U-turns. I believe that the Incineroar should be holding boots, but sometimes it could be we're holding some sort of like weakness policy set. Sonajo comes off here, I crit. He crits back, great turn of exchange, luck on both sides. And he brings out a Swiller, taking 25% plus a 6% burn. Great for me. He needs to switch in one more time, and then I can kill it with my Bullet Punch. So that's really good for me. I'm pretty happy with that. Slow King is not really useful anymore, but it does earn a second kill to the sacked Landorus Therian. Rocks finally go away. I can't set them back up again, but I go ahead and Sledge Wave to ensure the roost the next turn so I can bring in Dancy pretty safely. And now I have a pretty free Diamond Storm, which takes up that thing, which means in turn that my Rillaboom is pretty good now. It doesn't really matter. It's not as good as the Scizor, which is what I'm actually worried about. So he comes out here to sack because it's really useless the rest of the game. If he decides to switch and try to set up, I 2 a KO with my offensive set. So Rillaboom comes in here to sack. He goes ahead and goes to Incineroar, and it's pretty hard for me to lose here at this point. In fact, it would take a lot of talent, so I'm really thinking about how I could not lose this game. As Maurice comes out, does a little bit of damage. Not playing around with any setup sets. Artillery is going to come in here, take the U-turn, which is great. Now we know he has U-turn, and I believe knockoff. So it could be still packing SD Fire move or SD Dark move. I go ahead and bring in Maurice here, as I will be able to kill this guy again, and I U-turn for safety. Really no reason to play anything risky, as I have the win in the bag, which will ensure my team goes to finals. Dancy comes in here, and it's really hard for me to lose. I just have to hit these Diamond Storms. Next Diamond Storm doesn't matter. He should come in here and just go ahead and steal with me. But as he's at 51% exactly, Scizor will always 2 a KO, depending on his HP set. So Bullet Punch comes out here, and I go ahead and win the game. So yeah, really great game to our opponents. I hope it proves that really you're wrong. And Mugi is better for a plethora of reasons, because she has more than waifu value. You can like Mugi and not have her as a waifu because she's just adorable, right? Whereas Saber is kind of hard. I will put my money where my mouth is on that, by the way. All of us are 6'8" plus. And so I'm down to throw down behind the McDonald's if you want to. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Just want to let you know that the Boston Bearways are going to finals, and that the Sabers are not going to finals. Respectfully, your waifu is trash, and that is going to be it for me today. Goodbye, God bless, and have a great day.